And before we do anything, we got to make sure we stretch first. Can a 230-pound meatball powerlifter be flexible like a gymnast? Probably not. I told you guys I was going to get training. My what's turning out to be a really good friend, Levon, is helping me with my footwork. And he's with a group of guys, and they get together and they train. And he kind of told me, the only way I'm going to get better is to fight, sparring, fighting, that kind of thing. And they get together and they do that. So what we're doing here, we're trying to accomplish is you got to get a little prep work. I need to put a few things together, and then I'm going to jump in there with them. You know what I mean? And, obviously the guys they're not trying to kill each other. Like, this isn't fighting, but it is. They go at it. And I'm going to get in there too. So hopefully soon you guys are going to get some footage of your boy getting beat to shit by probably some guy that's 15 years younger than me. And I can't wait. God damn it. I thought, while I'm showing you this footage of him training me, so with the way the training works is we do 90-second rounds around the bag, and then in between exercise like burpees, sit-ups, push-ups. I didn't include that in this video because it would have been 45 minutes to an hour long, and frankly, I don't know, do you really want to see that? I was just trying to condense it down into the highlights. What the actual training consists of, but that's what it was. It was 4 rounds, 3 times around the bag, 90 seconds each. Then you do burpees, sit-ups, good mornings. What was the other one? A bunch of exercises like that, squats, body squats, and then back on the bag. So cardio is I have none. I was, by the time I got to the last round, my arm was so tired I could barely hit the bag. But I still completed the entire training session. I wanted to quit so badly. I have not done real cardio in 3 years. And I do a lot of HIIT training. And actually, I am in pretty good shape for my age. So check this shit out. Yesterday, I went to signed up for EOS Fitness at the gym. My wife, I got her signed up too. They do a free body scan. Now, I don't know, it's kind of pseudoscience-y to me, but it's that thing you stand on when you hold the electrodes, and it reads your body whatever out. And then the reason why I say it's pseudoscience, because at the end they tell you your somatotype, whether you're an ectomorph, endomorph, mesomorph. That shit's been disproven. It's like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, come on, what is this garbage, guys? You're selling this to people that don't know anything about fitness, but the somatotype's been so disproven. Now, you can use it as a general reference, but it's nonsense. It's all. I could go on. I could make video after video about how bullshit that is, and I don't really know how accurate it is, but it basically it could kind of read your lean body mass. It uses some sort of measurement of resistance, because visceral fat, organ fat, has a different kind of electrical resistance than muscle and bone. So they can kind of reasonably accurately measure lean body mass versus fat. Now, I don't know how this machine breaks down organ fat versus visceral fat, because it did read out those. How would it know? I mean, I don't know how it can tell the difference, because I have an engineering mind. I work with low voltage sensors and probes and things of that nature, calibrating. I used to work in a chemical plant, so I kind of understand how a lot of this technology works. Like your mass airflow sensor in your car basically sends us, it burns the air in between, and it measures, I understand how the filaments work and the different gas monitors and all that. So when I'm thinking about this machine and how it's measuring all this stuff, I'm kind of wondering, is this thing bullshit? But I think you can get a reasonably accurate reading of your lean body mass versus fat, and I came out to 11%. And they told me that I had one of the best readings I'd ever seen in that gym, and they have, the bodybuilders don't even have my leanness. And I don't know, man. Like I kind of knew I was pretty shredded, but he asked me, "Are you a bodybuilder? Are you trying to be one?" I'm like, "No, I'm a power lifter. I just watch what I eat." Frankly, I don't know what to tell you, man. Hey, that PEDs help, right? But there's a lot of those guys are on gear, and they're nowhere near as shredded as I am. And I'm also like 10 to 15 years older than most of those guys. There was a couple guys my age that were in there. I talked to a couple of them. I did a tour of the gym, and it's a good community, a good crowd. They have good equipment. Profit fear, they have a Smith machine. Haha. They got a bunch of stuff. They got that bell squat machine. It's a cool little gym. So that's official. I'm finally signed up. Finally got a membership. Now I just need to get my ass out there. Go to it. It's hard to drag me out of my little dungeon. You wake up and it's just right there. I don't have to wait for a deadlift platform or a squat rack or a barbell. I got it in my garage. But it's kind of fun to get out there and, be with people every once in a while. I get a little lonely in the gym, and plus I kind of like to show off. I do like being the big fish in a small pond, so that's kind of fun to do. And, I got my wife signed up, and I got a couple of friends. They gave me a free t-shirt. Oh. So I thought I would take this video to respond to some comments. I got some really good ones. Before I dive into the comments, I want to talk about how most of the federations score what they consider elite level lifters. We used to use what's called a Wilks formula. It's a mathematical formula based on weight, body weight to the amount of weight lifted, and anything over like 400 was considered elite. And they kind of got away from that because it skewed the numbers towards the lighter lifters. Really light people, like there was this guy, he weighed 90 pounds and he was deadlifting all 4 times his body weight. Well, that's warm-up weight for a guy that's 300 pounds. So it's like you get I think the lighter lifters got more of an advantage because a 90-pound man versus a 150-pound man, they could be comparably strong, and he gets so much more of an advantage. And it's like, that's kind of simplifying it. But now they use what's called the dot score. Now, I looked at this formula, and I don't freaking understand it, I'll be honest with you. But it kind of evens it out a little bit. It's generally accepted that it's a little bit more of a fair competition. And based on that, anybody that's got like a 450 dot score is considered elite, for sure. I have around a 475 as this last meet. I would imagine Cephas at his body weight probably has like 480, 490, which is incredible. I don't know what he competed at. If he's 220 and he got with a 1750 total, I'm just guessing that's what he got. That's going to put his score somewhere around 480, which is just mind-boggling. Like, you guys have no idea how crazy that is. And then there's Tommy H. It's Tommy at Tommy H5. Tommy H. He's competing at nationals in June. And I don't know which federation you're competing at, Tommy, but if it's the USPA in Buffalo, I'm there, dude. I'm totally entering that meet if you're lifting in our federation. Like, there's no way I would miss that. And I expect him. You're what? What are you competing at? Around 260, somewhere in there. I don't know what that puts you in the 242 weight class. I don't know if you're leaning out or what you're competing at, but I expect Tommy to probably have like an excess of a 1,900 pound total. He is a monster, people. I've never seen a guy get so much crap for the way he trains, which is essentially like conjugate. He uses a lot of bands and overloads and short range of motion, things like that. And people are like, "Oh, it's not a real squat. You're using band." Like, The dude's got a 500-pound bench. He's squatting over 700 pounds. I don't even know what his deadlift is. He's a monster. Like, give me a break. You're like, maybe if you asked him why he does what he does, you'd learn something, people. I'd be doing a lot of the same work if I had his equipment. I don't have bands. I need to buy some. I broke all mine. Fun fact, if you live in the desert, don't leave your bands in the garage because they come brittle, and then when you try to use them with weights and they snap and kill you, that's a bad deal. So, yeah, if you live in a very arid climate, make sure you store your equipment properly. And definitely test it before you use it. Holy crap. Man, it's a bad deal to try to find out your band breaks when you've got 500 pounds on a bar and you're going down for a squat and one side gives out. It's not only does the weight like flip over and crush you, but then the band flies around and snaps you in the eye and you're blind, and it's just you're laying on the floor and it's just this crumpled puddle of goo. Not a fun way to find out your equipment's faulty. No, we're just talking powerlifting, like people that actually compete. And the guys I consider like absolute legitimate monsters, Tommy H5, Cephist, Tall Man Jude's a monster. There's a bunch of you guys, but Rockman, you know, like even though you're not competing because you got some injuries that you're dealing with, your lifts are impeccable. Your form is great. Who am I missing? The young kid. What's his name? Runner Boy. Okay, Runner Boy hasn't competed yet. Runner Boy, you should, because your lifts are beautiful. Like, what's your total at now? I know you've been blowing it out of the water, man. You've been really kicking butt. Then if you go to a different sport, there's a unknown strongman. Now, you guys got to check this guy out. He's a badass. He just picks stuff up. I don't know how to describe it. He's strongman. They pick shit up and put it down. Rocks, cars, people, groceries. He's the guy that grabs all the groceries. No, I mean, whatever. If it's weight, he picks it up and puts it down. And a lot of a good bulk of his training is natural stones. And some of the stuff this guy wrangles, like, I'm pretty freaking strong, and I don't know if I could do half of the stuff that he does. We train in specificity, so it's hard to. The CrossFit kind of tries to do everything, but strongman, legitimately strong dudes that just pick up anything, they're pretty good at pretty much any lifting sport. It translates very well. And then, I got to give my shout out to like Clarksville Barbell Club. If you want to talk about Olympic lifting, that guy's badass. Oh, there's so many of you. I didn't want to turn this into a shout out video, but I just feel like I got to spread some love to my competitors, guys that are actually going on the platform and putting it on the line. And Tall Man Jude, I know I had to include you just because you're such a monster. But I wish you would compete. You would, for your age, you would mop up, brother. Oh, man. And, of course, I got to give some love to what I call my weirdo lifters. Guys that don't compete, but are, artisans. They're just really, they hone their skills. 3 people come to mind. There's Hans Human, and Handsome Touchdown. Prophet Fear. He's just he's super, like, you can disagree with his lifts, you can say his techniques, whatever, but what you can't say is like how impeccable and consistent he is, and super technical. And then of course there's Dojangles Climb. Now you got to check this guy out. Man, he's a rock climber. He's just an all-around, he's just an athlete. This guy is like crazy grip strength. Martial artist, rock climber, lifter, he does it all. Those are my 3, hard to categorize, but super awesome at what they do. And there's a ton of you, I'm not trying to leave anyone out. I just thought, we just got done competing. There's a few of us, and I just want to throw some names out there, spread some love. Unknown Strongman, you got a competition coming up really soon. I want to make sure we're there for that. So this video is getting kind of long, and I haven't even gotten to the comment I wanted to get to, so let's do that. At GDoggy-EM2XC. Last video, I put it out there. I said, I got some, now that I'm done with this competition, I can focus on a lot of different things. So I put it out to the community to ask what it is you'd like me to focus on. Now, he writes, 2 things I'd really like to see. First, and this is the part I want to talk about, what can a man our age accomplish without PEDs? I'm feeling like the only reason I'm not as strong as I'd like to be is because I'm 100% natural. He said natty, but natural. I'm bummed out about it. Second is how to program for deadlift. Extremely frustrated with my deadlift. It's like 1 week I have a good workout, but the next week I take 2 steps back. And then everything else you mentioned are good topics too, including your kickboxing. Because I asked some people, I'm not really getting a lot of good feedback on my boxing training, and that's fine. You guys aren't interested in that. I just want to know. I put it out there. Let's talk about the PED thing. Can a guy our age be strong? Well, if you believe in a West Coast Wolverine, he's the strongest natural man that's ever existed. He's strong. I'll give it to him. I mean, even if you have an ugly arch ass in the air bench, 400 pounds, it's still 400 pounds. You know, we can talk all the crap we want. The only reason why we talk crap about you, Wolvie, is because you challenge everybody. You know what I mean? You call people out. So you're opening yourself up to criticism. If you didn't call people out and act like the idiot you are, I would have to admit, you're a legitimately strong, natural dude. Really strong. You're my age. You're benching 400. Your squat sucks. But your overhead press is really impressive. And I think that if you just had some humility and got some coaching, your squat would be perfectly fine. Right now, it's kind of a baby squat. 315 is like, it's not even enough to warm up. I'm only throwing that out there because you like to call people out. Otherwise, if you're an average 49, 50-year-old and you're squatting 315, that's actually really strong. I know YouTube makes it seem like it's not because you got all these monsters and they're showing their best lifts. But you go to any gym across the country and you find a 50-year-old my weight and my age that's natural, squatting 315, that's probably a pretty strong dude. Now, one thing I want to say is I was 100% natural until the age of 46. 45, 40, right in there. It was after my 45th birthday and before my 46th birthday is when I decided to go on test. Up to that point, I was in the 198 weight class, and I had a 1,500-pound total as a natural. I had all the Nevada state records. I had the national records for the USPA for about 6 months in 2016. So I was the #1 lifter in the country. Now, you can look at me and say I'm a bit of a genetic outlier. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I am. There's guys that make me look like a pansy. But are my age not? I'm killing it for my age group. So we're talking. You're specifically talking guys our age. How strong can you get? There's a ton of us, dude. But it's a grind. It's the first thing I would suggest is get your blood work done. You got to see what you're working with. Do you have low test? Because there's guys our age that are perfectly in range and they're fine, and there's guys that are tanked just from life. Just the body. Dude, you can't beat Father Time. Stuff stops working. I really believe in Western medicine. You're telling me that my body's going to stop producing a hormone and I can take that hormone and be young again? Come on, man. Hop on board. But I also think it's great that if you are natural, like that's awesome. I don't have a dog in the fight. I think that's a personal decision, and it's one that you have to, really make, because once you go on, at our age, you're not coming off. But then the flip side of that argument is you weren't producing it to begin with. So what is there to come off to? That's what they say, it's like, oh, well, you go on testosterone, you can't come off of it at your age. The only reason a doctor is going to prescribe it is if you're not making any to begin with. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like you're just back to where you started. And if you were living okay up to that point, you're probably going to be okay after. Me personally, I don't know. As long as my health markers continue to be good, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to stay away from the harder stuff. Obviously, we could get into that. That's a different conversation. But we're just talking about you going on test or hormone replacement therapy to get yourself on par with the younger guys. I don't see anything wrong with that. But you want to stay natural, that's awesome too. Here's what I'm going to say to you. I'm going to extend to you training. I will train with you. I will look at your squat, we'll look at your deadlift, we'll look at your whatever lifts you want. We'll look at your program, we'll look at your diet, we'll look at your sleep, we'll look at all of it. I'm available video. I'm one-on-one. I'm there for you because what I'm reading is a cry for help. It's like she's saying you're frustrated with your situation. And we can get you strong. There's a ton of guys on YouTube that I talk to that are 100% natural. And they're good coaches. And a lot of the times, guys our age, if we're not making progress, you got to really look at the volume and intensity you're working with and make some adjustments based on that, because we can't train like kids anymore. That's something that we can look at. Either way, I think if you're not satisfied with your strength levels or where you're at and you want to stay natural, we can fix what we can get you there. I guarantee it. It is possible. For me, man, modern medicine, baby. I'm in it. I'm 100% there. It's like, Father Time's coming for all of us, and I want to enjoy what I have left, and I'm having fun. I am loving life, and I think that's a big part of the equation. How long is the ride going to last for? I don't know, man. Tomorrow's promised to no one, baby. But as long as, like I said, as long as things continue in a positive direction, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And I'm going to try to be smart about it, and I'm going to be transparent about it. You guys, any questions you have, I'm a 100% open, honest. I want people to have good information, and I'm not going to contribute to the problem. I think abuse of PEDs is a huge problem, and it's something that's killing and hurting a lot of people. Now, you could say, you're doing it. Well, am I? I don't think I am. And especially not to that degree. I have kids, and I have a wife, and I love my life, and I want to stay alive. So I'm not doing what you think I'm doing. That being said, I'm not really trying to convince anybody either. I just want guys our age to have good information. And if you're not satisfied with where you're at, I want to be there to help you get to where you're at. It's all work. You just got to figure out what works for you and go with it. So hit me up. We're not done with this conversation. I got to get back to work. This video's getting long. I love you guys. I will see you on the battlefield.